See, you just gotta... There you go.
This is ridiculous. What did you do to it?
Alright, so plan for today was to go and take this guy for a ride, except the weather is not great today, so let's see what happens. Alright, let's get after it. Whoosh. Best snack ever. So let's talk about cycling laws. Well, first of all, 2 disclaimers. Number 1, this is not an exhaustive list. You should definitely check links in the doobly-doo. And number 2, I am not a lawyer. You should check all of these things, you know, get your sources right. So the number 1 law that I hear get asked about the most is cycling on the sidewalks. And believe it or not, here in Massachusetts, it is indeed legal to cycle on the sidewalks, so long as you're outside of a business district, which generally is defined as businesses which have doors that open to a sidewalk area. Freezing cold out here. Ooh, getting the chills. Or if the section of sidewalk that you're riding on, ooh, hawk. I just saw a hawk fly by, that was amazing. Number 2 is if you're riding on a section of sidewalk that is strictly prohibited, and there will be signs that will denote like, oh, you can't ride on this sidewalk. But generally speaking, in Massachusetts, you are allowed to ride on the sidewalk. Interesting law number 2. You can use either hand to indicate whether you're turning right or turning left. Generally, you've seen people do sort of this sort of thing with just their left hand. But for a bike, you can use either hand, and it's not strictly required. The general rule of thumb is if you can indicate, you should. But if taking your hands off of the bars will endanger you or endanger anybody else in any way, you shouldn't do it. Interesting Massachusetts law number 3. You may indeed pass cars on the right-hand side. In fact, you can even fill forward, generally speaking. There's some jury out on the fill forward bit, but you can indeed pass on the right-hand side, even if there is no lane on the right-hand side. Also, to clarify, there is a difference between filling forward, so if there's a stoplight and bikes are filling forward through to the stoplight, that's one thing, versus lane splitting, where traffic is moving and you're splitting lanes going in between. Splitting lanes in Massachusetts is illegal, but filling forward to a light is sort of a gray area. It doesn't look that cold out here, but it's actually pretty chilly. Ooh, let's keep moving. Let's call this the final stop of the frigid tour. And another interesting law that I didn't even know about, but if you're riding within an hour of sunrise or an hour of sunset, you must have a light both on the front and on the rear of your bike, and they must be visible from at least 500 feet away. So like pretty much any light will do, but you must have both the front and the rear. Oh, it's so cold, so cold. Oh, I picked the wrong day to do this video. Next place. So I guess last thing to mention here is what happens if worst case scenario? What happens if you do actually get hit? So number 1 should be obvious, you should call 911. Goes without saying. And if you make contact with a car, you're injured enough to call 911. Most people don't because they're afraid of having to pay for it, but do it, it's covered. Here in Massachusetts, there's this thing called PIP, which is personal injury protection, which basically covers ambulance costs. All insurance is required to have it. If you're an insured driver, if there are like Massachusetts plates on your car, your insurance has PIP. And this covers you even if the accident is your fault. So the number 2 thing you should do is you should try and get any kind of information from the driver, be it, even if it's just a license plate. If you can get more than that, that's fantastic if they stay, but if nothing else, just get the license plate number, just say it out loud. If you've got something that's recording, or if you like have your phone out, just say the license plate out loud. It'll help you to remember it. Last thing to mention is witnesses. 99% of the time, there's going to be somebody who saw what happened, and if somebody saw it, try and get them to go on record and just say anything. Say something on video, like just whip out your phone and just have them take a picture, get their contact information, anything that you can get to anybody that's related to what happened to you. If you can do those 2 things, you're going to get out of it just fine. And second disclaimer, I am not a lawyer. You should definitely look this stuff up on your own. It's starting to get cold again. It's time to go inside.